My name is Nick Jeffries. I am Custom Antler Designs out of Spokane, Washington. Technically, I started in 2008, but realistically, I was making small lamps and different items for friends and family a lot and different things for a lot of years. And then it kind of progressed into larger chandeliers, and now I do anything out of antler. The antler lighting basically started from PTSD therapy. I needed something post-Marine Corps, and like a lot of vets, struggled to find, purpose in life. And, we work jobs and we just, the monotony just doesn't do it like the adrenaline of combat. So what I did is I started working on antlers, and I found that it fills the void. And like some people will read books and some people will watch TV and do other things, and that just didn't work for me. The excuse to go shed hunt was an exercise, and then the excuse to go build lights all the time, to go buy antlers all the time, to go trade antlers, to go deal with someone buying a lamp and figuring out what they want and how they want it, and just filling that void in life. I would say that a lot of my successes in life through the PTSD and through that side of things were 100% due to antlers. People often ask me where I get all my antlers, and I buy them from dealers or locals, but there is all sorts of different antlers in here from all over the place. These are fallow deer, and this is actually a wild fallow deer that got imported from Europe, and it's been a while since we've done that, so it's probably 20 years old. I didn't buy it 20 years ago, I just bought it, but somebody had it in a warehouse. We got red stag from Europe. We got 190-inch sets. We got matte sets of whitetail. Sourcing antlers is always an interesting thing. I buy from all my local friends and family, and I worked in natural resources, and so I have networks of friends in wildfire and networks of friends in forestry, and I buy all their antlers. That's one source. The other source is there's antler dealers. Antlers, actually, the majority of them go to antler dog chew. Antler dog chew is basically just an antler cut up, a beautiful antler cut up into dog chew, and then sold at one of the local pet stores or the big pet markets, and it's this ridiculous price on them. That drives the antler market, which makes my antlers cost more for my product, and I only buy the highest quality. GOHUNT inquired about a chandelier, and we came up with a design together, just like I do with all of my clients. Today we're going to be using mule deer and elk horns, starting off with some giant mule deer in the center with flyers. This is an 88-inch antler, which is, if anybody knows their math, throw that times 2 and then throw another 20 inches on it. That's gonna make it almost a 200-inch buck. So we got some monster mule deer here, and we're gonna put this as our center ring, and then we're gonna build another ring outside that. We're gonna drill all the wiring out inside the antlers, and we're gonna put a second tier, and then we're gonna take 5 giant elk horns, and we're gonna go up with it. And at that point, we are gonna make a decision whether we want to add a second tier or just tier the lights up the antler. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Not knowing what they were in for, I told them, hey, how about we use some 350 bull elk? How about we use some 80-inch single mule deer? There was one that was 88 inches, and I'm sure there was one that was maybe pushing 90 inches. And that's 180 to 200-inch bucks. So we decided to use those antlers based on what was in that state. And then we came up with the design together. When I'm choosing layout, because every antler is so different, I think that the beauty of what I do and how I do it is that every piece is different. Like, I don't offer a certain chandelier that looks like this and you can order it called the Tahoe. Because every antler is so different, you can build something different with every chandelier. So this chandelier that's gonna be hanging in the GOHUNT showroom down in Las Vegas is gonna be different than any chandelier you've ever seen, because we literally are making it up as we go and we are building it. In this chandelier, we're gonna use a bunch of mule deer with flyers, all very, very large. with that said, because I like to build random, I don't like to build like the same thing over and over and over and over again. It works well because antlers are all different. Like, to build the same thing over and over is actually kind of a challenge. So when somebody says, I want this to look just like this, it actually makes it more work because you're using the exact same antlers that were in the picture, and then you're building it in that fashion. You're putting the lights where that goes. I let the piece tell me what to do. So like the only thing we have planned out right now is that we're gonna use 2 tiers of mule deer on the bottom. We're gonna throw 5 giant elk up, big 350 bulls. And we could possibly grab some of these Canadian whitetails or some of these Texas whitetails and put another tier up in the center, or we can tier it up, and we're gonna play out where the lights go. I personally think I'd like to put about 10 bulbs, 10 to 15 bulbs on the bottom tier. So right now we have 5 lights delegated, and we're just gonna go from there. I'm literally tying in the last 2 antlers here. And you know, sometimes things just work well. And I sometimes when I'm just super stressed, I just line stuff up and it fits. Whether the shoe fits or not all the time, I don't know, but for whatever reason, it works pretty good for me. So we're almost there. I got one horn too close here. I got one that goes over instead of under. And so I'm just gonna play with it a little until I get it right. I'm on the last stages here, and basically I'm just evening stuff out. You know, stuff doesn't always line up, but just moving screws, and people are always like, what about all the holes in it? Well, we'll fill those, you'll see. Yeah, look at all those flyers. Yeah. All right, before I go putting screws in to finalize any of this, it's time to make the next tier. So we're going out from here. The next tier that we're gonna put out is all the same left sides, and we're gonna do a typical versus a non-typical. And it's funny because mule deer people are like really into mule deer. And these are specifically, so a mule deer comes up and it forks, and then it comes out into 2 forks. And that is what a typical mule deer looks like. That, like right there, that's every mule deer is gonna have some sort of genetic like that. Then you tie in the eye guard, which mule deer either have or they don't have. And it really just depends on the antler. A typical framed buck is, you know, gonna have 4 big points on the top, where a non-typical is gonna have random crap. So this guy's got a split in his fork. Some of these other ones have very similar. This guy's got an eye guard, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up top. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go typical, then non-typical, typical, then non-typical, all the way around this thing. And you know, for the guys that really like mule deer, this thing is gonna be unreal, man, from the bottom. So. That's gonna look good, though it's gonna be a pain in the ass. So because we're designing and building as we go, we're literally figuring out where your wiring is gonna go. So on this, we're gonna take it down this antler, and we're gonna take it down this antler back to another candlestick. So it's just challenging trying to figure out where you're gonna hide all the wiring. Antler chandeliers can be an art form. What I do is more on the artistic side. So we design and we build as we go. So there's that skill set, but then there's that artistic eye, stepping back and saying, hey, like on the GOHUNT Chandelier, we're adding a second tier, and we're adding some mule deer in there with some little flyers. And basically what we're gonna do, then the artistic side is like, how do you hide the wiring? So then we're coming from a center point, then we're running down an elk horn, then we're tying into another set of wiring, and it just makes it very complicated. So we hit our first snag. We had all the flyer mule deer in the middle, the 8 of them. Well, those are not easy to come by, and I had literally 8 set aside. Well, we just broke one, drilling it out. So what we have to do is, for this chandelier, I'm just gonna replace it. I'll use this for a table lamp or something cool later and just figure out the tine. I happen to have a couple piles of antlers laying around, so I got one with a small flyer that'll work for us. And I think it'll tie in nicely in the space, so that's where we're at. So I still have some screws to put in this, and I still have some work to do there. But it's time to look at the symmetry and make sure we're in good shape. I'm gonna lift this bad boy up, and we're gonna check out the bottom. Ready, 1, 2, 3. This is what you're gonna see from the floor. You're gonna look up at this, and I have a cap for my centerpiece that has the GOHUNT symbol on it. That's gonna be just absolutely perfect for this piece. It's turning out just the way we want it to. It's already 50 pounds. Okay, so we just cut off some screws. Now we got to build up. I'm going to add 5 elk sheds that are off 350 plus bulls. These 5 that we're going to use are all out of Montana, and you can see that just based on the colors. So we're going to start adding them on and see what happens. So we're at a transition point. We got the elk just kind of tacked in there, and we have 13 lights on the bottom so far. So I'd like to put at least 5 up. These bulls are pretty symmetrical, so we could technically go here. The beauty of my inventory is that I can play with antlers. I can say, hey, let's throw in something else and go from there. So we're here on day 2 on the GOHUNT Chandelier, and we got the bottom tier made. We came up with the second tier. So today we're going to drill out the second tier. We are going to drill out where the wiring is going to come from the top to the middle to the bottom, and then we're going to get it hung, and we're going to finish drilling, and then we're going to start putting wires in. Chandelier weights can be crazy. You know, this one behind me weighs over 200 pounds. And you know, it's got these elk sheds that weigh 11, 12 pounds a side. And we actually have 6 match sets that are over 350, a couple match sets that are over 300, and then some other miscellaneous. There's a 400-inch red stag sitting right behind me. You know, just super unique and super, you know, they can be super heavy just because of the antler weight. What I like to do is people call me and they're like, oh, I'm gonna take my 4 biggest bucks that my wife won't allow me to have inside, and we're gonna build a chandelier and then we're gonna put it inside. And I can do that for you. I can take your racks, your cutoffs, your sheds. I can take anything that you got and I can make it a piece of art. So we just finished the wiring piece on this guy. We ended up with 13 lights, 8 on the bottom, 5 on the top. And we are going to the moment of truth to plug it in. So let's see what happens here. Oh, voila. So from here, basically, we're going to tediously fill every hole that I drilled in this thing with epoxy, and we're going to texture it and make it look like antler. And then we're going to touch up paint just the holes that we create. And I think this is the difference between what I do and what other companies do, is that I only use the best quality antlers, and then we only paint the holes that we create, which gives you the best product possible. And you know, the fast process would be that we putty it and then we stain every antler, but I don't do that. I don't like that. And the reason I don't like that is because I love antlers and I love the natural color you get from what they rub on. And then we got a couple bigger voids to fill. So like here, we'll put an elk button. And then we also have this by my friend Jason Lewis, carved in Alaska. And it's made in the USA by Nick Jeffries, and my phone number with the GOHUNT symbol. Pretty cool, and that'll sit right in the center on the bottom, so anybody that looks up at the chandelier gets a taste of that. Yeah, so the other thing that I need to do is we build our own candlesticks, and so we'll, after all these are straight and epoxied in, then we'll build a candlestick around it and make it look like an antler. And to most people, you won't even be able to tell the difference. So my Instagram has all the products that I build, and I like to just show them. Feel like it's just exciting for people to see what I'm doing and comment, and I do giveaways, and I give away lamps and chandeliers and crazy stuff. My Instagram is Custom Antler Designs. Check out some of the cool products that we're building, and throw me some ideas, and like, you know, I got this idea of what I want to build and how I want to build it, and you know, I can do that.